Jason is here.
Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today Rob is at Costco getting pizza. So there's that. And how you doing, Mr. Bespin?
Better than last week, but yeah.
Good. And Star Wars Santa says, like the show, or I'll give you coal. Good morning, Star Wars Santa, and everybody in the chat. If you want to become a channel member like Star Wars Santa, that's the best way to support the show and Skywalker's Academy. The whole Luke Skywalker Academy is a channel member, which is really appreciated. Although I do think that they should break up and get individual accounts to support the show individually, but better that than nothing. And but today you wrote what? How many articles? 3? You got 3 articles for us today?
3 over the weekend.
Yeah. Over the weekend you did 3, so they can't say you're that lazy because you worked over the weekend.
Yeah. You work a real job, then you do this job. So
real job. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, we'll just get right to the first little bit here. The Mandalorian and Grogu star confirms June filming start. Cast a doubt on the 4th season of The Mandalorian. What? So, last week, Brendan Wayne, one of the actors who portrays Din Djarin in The Mandalorian, alongside Lateef Crowder and Pedro Pascal, spoke with Chatooine podcast about various topics relating to his time on the hit Disney Plus series. During the 90-minute chat, Wayne briefly discussed the recently announced Mandalorian and Grogu movie, the planned follow-up and Mandoverse crossover set to be directed by Dave Filoni, as well as the status of the 4th season of The Mandalorian. Early on in the interview, the topic of The Mandalorian becoming a film series arose, with the host bringing up the follow-up film to The Mandalorian and Grogu, which is set to be directed by Dave Filoni, and has been described as a crossover event for the various Disney Plus series he's produced, which includes The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka. Wayne and probably Skeleton Crew, right? Or does that not count because he didn't write it?
What do you think? No, he's a producer on it, but we don't know how involved he was, because within this entire show that I listened to, he mentions that even on Boba Fett, Dave is pretty much there every day.
Yeah,
and stuff like that. So obviously with Skeleton Crew is filming at the same time, as Ahsoka, Dave was probably too busy to do anything really over there.
Yeah,
but
because I keep in my brain keeps going are people from Skeleton Crew going to end up in that show? You know what I mean? Is Jude Law going to end up in this movie? Is Jude Law going to be a star of the first one? Well, not the star, but a star.
Yeah.
Well,
the thing is as well, if we go from what Snyder said, was it in January? He said that
all the scoops are mine. All the scoops are his.
But the Filoni crossover movie wouldn't come out till 2028. So that gives them way more than enough time to see Skeleton come out this year, the reception to it from fans and from obviously viewership, to be do we want to include any of these guys?
Yeah.
So
really quickly, Skywalker's Academy says, I asked a question on Patreon, but you never answered. I didn't think that was the way to get results. On Patreon, I just never saw it. I'm sorry about that. But if you send it to me, we'll talk about it. Anyway, sorry about that. Here we go. Wayne played coy regarding that movie, saying that he can't confirm or deny the existence of it, but added that he thinks that Lucasfilm should make 3 films. And that's what I had heard, that there was going to be 3 of those movies. Is that what he's alluding to?
I've got all his quotes where he talks about the 3.
Okay.
But yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I can neither confirm nor deny, but at this point, I think they're going to make 3, honestly. There's got to be 3, Brendan Wayne. And yeah, that Disney sources told me that the idea was for there to be 3 of those movies.
Isn't it 3 if the
first
successful
one? Yeah. The first one. So how I expect it to go is, let's just say the first Favreau film hits. Let's just pretend it does 700 million. And they're all right, yeah, we'll likely, I think, see they'll start pointing towards the next one and being like, this is a series, guys. There's more coming, kind of thing.
Right, before we go past it, I know this is so far away. It's 2 years away.
Okay.
But if you had to take a guess at how much money you think that's gonna make, and don't give me all the what if it's this good and this thing and blah blah blah.
I just did. I just gave mine.
700.
I think it'll make 700 million.
Yeah, I'm like 5 to 6.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm being nice though. I'm being like optimistic.
Yeah.
Like really optimistic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just think 5 to 6. I think like that's big time profitable if the budget is like 120.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they can do solo money and still be profitable on that.
Yeah, I feel like we have Dune going towards a 700 million-ish goal right now at the box office. And Dune is for boring fucking nerds and
Thank you very much.
Shalamates. And so I think Grogu is way cuter than Timothy. I watched Wonka last night, and Grogu's cuter. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't
Timothy's think cute. He's cute. He's got those little rosy cheeks and everything.
I don't think that's why Dune is doing well.
You know what? Most people who know anything about box office know that most of Dune's box office is rollover from Wonka. Yeah,
right.
No,
I'm pretty good at box office.
You are.
I never factored in Timothy Chalamet's cuteness.
Yeah, that's why. I mean, that's why you can't do it. You're just one man. You can't do it all. But that's why I'm here.
Was my prediction before we knew any of the numbers of Dune right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was in the correct ballpark.
Was my prediction of Turtles right?
Dead on.
Yeah.
You got Turtles. Yeah. Dead on. Yeah. One of our in our conversations that we usually have, we've decided that the 80s are over. The reprisal of 80s properties doesn't equate to box office anymore. For the most part, it's usually like not the case. You have your outliers like Top Gun, but we've seen Indiana Jones, Tank, The Last Ghostbusters made 200 million. Turtles made what? What'd you say it was? 137 or something?
No, it was like 170.
170. So, yeah, it's not like the box office power of the 80s generation has died. So everything that we have today going forward with Star Wars is going to be contingent upon the most current fan base who existed.
It's also it's not just 80s, but long running franchises that like seen dwindling results.
Right. Yeah. The Marvel movies, superhero movies,
Marvel, Fast and Furious, Mission Impossible.
Yeah. Fast and the Furious still ended up being profitable.
It made not really. It made 704 million. So it probably was, considering they did Indiana Jones and had a $330 million budget. So yeah, that's why they're taking it down to like 2 or under for the Fast 11.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Colin wants to take a little detour, and I'm down to entertain it for 1 second. Hey, Jason, off topic, but what do you think of the Mendes Beatles movie for 2027? So people who don't know, they're releasing 4 Beatles movies, one for each Beatle. There's going to be some overlap and stuff like that on the story. So I think that they're going to save a lot of money by casting the same cast in all 4 movies, the same costumes, the same sets, and the major sets and stuff like that will all do it. And then they're just gonna have like different songs, I would imagine, featured in the movies. But I think that's actually like it's really outside the box. I don't know how they're gonna make people go to see 4 movies, and they can't release them all at the same time. If you release them all at the same time, everybody's gonna go like Lennon and McCartney, and then George and then Ringo. But yeah, I think it's interesting though. I'm gonna go see them all. We should see it together, Colin. I think we'd have a good time.
Considering his last name, I think he's probably like based in Wales.
Oh no
So
no no no. Colin's he's a local. He's a friend.
is he?
Yeah.
Is he Welsh?
No, I mean he's local to me, not you. he's
Uh,
he's over here. Yeah,
no, but
I've
is he
hung out with
Welsh
him.
though?
Are you Welsh?
Because his last name is a Welsh name.
I mean, I know he gets pretty loud when he drinks. So that sounds like you guys.
I mean, have you viewed Americans when they get hammered? So
Yeah, I guess that's just
yeah.
white people in general.
I
Um,
don't. Yeah.
Welsh on my dad's side. He's been to Wales. Oh, there you go. You should have stopped by and used Bestman's bathroom. I mean, he'd be like, "Oh, a fellow Welshman," and he'd have to open it up. All right, sorry. All right. Anyways, back to Star Wars. So Brendan Wayne says there's gotta be three. And then you say, Bestman writes, I'm sure some will think the response from Wayne is somewhat odd when the Dave Filoni film was announced officially by Lucasfilm at last year's Star Wars Celebration. There's always a ton of rumors swirling around Star Wars, so I'm sure Wayne's conservative answer was due to that fact. And that he was just playing it safe if he was unsure, in the moment that the movie had been announced officially, or if it was just an online rumor. Yeah. So you don't know, you think that maybe he might have thought he was out of the loop on something?
I think
And
because they mentioned the follow-up movie, and he was like you know what I mean? He was. I don't think he knows it's officially out there
okay.
because he mentions he reads things online
Yeah.
all the time.
Right.
So he might have got confused of did they announce this or is this just like a trade report or like one of our reports or something of yeah, like I don't know, so I'm just gonna be like maybe about
Yeah.
it.
Right.
So yeah, I think he's just playing it safe, which is if in doubt, do that. You know, like
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to be like yeah, we're gonna do the third movie and it's directed by Rick Famuyiwa. Like yeah,
Right. And it's not being produced by Kathleen Kennedy because we fired her. Oh,
mm-hmm,
what? No. As the conversation continued, Wayne didn't want to commit to say anything concerning what fans can expect in The Mandalorian and Grogu, and instead turned the questioning onto the host. Wayne asked them what they expect from the movie. Ooh, the old switcheroo.
mm-hmm,
And one of the points brought up was that the ending of The Mandalorian and Grogu would set up Dave Filoni's crossover film and the conflict with Grand Admiral Thrawn and the Imperial Remnant. Wayne responded, but didn't give much of a response. Instead, he pushed the idea of The Mandalorian and Grogu becoming a film trilogy that would include Filoni's crossover flick. Okay, so I don't know anything. I'm being honest on this part. On the last part, you said it's going to set up Dave's movie. From what I understand and from what I've read, Dave is still doing Ahsoka 2, season 2. So I have the feeling that the movie is going, Ahsoka 2 is going, there's another movie. So I don't know how Dave doesn't do the final movie. I got to believe there's 3 movies. I don't know anything. I'm being honest. I got to believe there's a trilogy. Who doesn't do a trilogy? That's so weird. Like, if they only do 2 movies, it's weird. Brendan Wayne. Yeah. But that goes back to the old conversation we don't have to totally rehash, but it's
mm-hmm.
like the concept of trilogies is done, it's dead. There hasn't been a Star Wars trilogy since 1999. It was officially killed in 1997 when they started making a prequel. Indiana Jones isn't a trilogy. Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit and all that is more than 3 films. Like everything is more than 3. The only thing that's still a trilogy after all of this time is Back to the Future, and that's it. Everything else has more now. So they don't have to do a trilogy. They don't really need to. And most of the time when you get down to it, the third film is overstaying the welcome. Like Dune will probably have that feeling because the third book in Dune isn't as good as the earlier books. So or that third story. So it's
And
that
Denny we trust,
it's the
Jason.
second
And
book,
Denny we
but
trust.
yeah. I know. I know that's the whole thing is he's really gonna have to like bring it, which I'm sure he can, but you know what I'm saying.
I think with the Dune thing though, he's on about doing another movie before tackling it.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be a wait for Dune 3. It's not just going to be Dune, which is what
Yeah.
it would have been. So
Doom doom doom.
maybe the break of like, okay, maybe there's like we gotta wait 4 or 5 years for Dune 3.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that like gives people enough time rather than going, okay, in 2 years is another one. just like we do with most film series. It was just like, okay, episode 7 comes out in 2 years. We're gonna do episode 8, and another 2 years, episode 9. Like, that's the same thing with like the Fast and Furious movies or whatever it else may be. You know, like
somebody banned Mike for that. He said
Godfather
Godfather.
trilogy.
No, fair enough. I'll see your point, you son of a bitch. Okay. Okay. Joel says the third Dune film will be the second book, so it'll probably be good. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, I gotta believe there's 3 movies, is what he said. So one of the biggest questions on fans' mind in recent months since the announcement of the Mandalorian Grogu movie is, will there be a 4th season of The Mandalorian? Last spring, Jon Favreau confirmed he had already written the scripts for a 4th season and that they were already in pre-production. Filming on the 4th season was due to begin towards the tail end of September 2023, but production was indefinitely halted in May when the WGA strike began. Since the announcement of The Mandalorian Grogu, there's been conflicting reports on already announced 4th season, even within the Hollywood trades. Brendan was asked if there's going to be a 4th season of the hit Disney series and said the following: "No, I know we're doing a movie for sure, that's what I know. But unless they're going to abandon streaming, why do you abandon the thing you built your foundation on, which is streaming, which is The Mandalorian? I mean that as humbly as I can say it. There's a reason The Mandalorian premiered on Disney Plus when Disney Plus opened up. It isn't because we have this incredible library that everybody wants to subscribe to. It's because you had a show that was going to bring a character alive that we all dreamed of since we watched Star Wars, which was a Boba Fett-like character." So yeah, I would agree with I agree with him on that point for the most part. But I also think that from Disney's perspective, releasing a film will give them more money than probably what the and then they get to put that film on Disney Plus. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, this is just me talking out my ass, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see that movie hit Disney Plus before it hits everywhere else or something like that. They might do something, to that effect. But anyways, though Wayne initially says no to a 4th season. Oh, and here's the other thing. My working theory right now is that there was going to be a 4th season. I had heard rumors that there was talk of it being a shorter season with that story arc being expanded into his film. But with Carl Weathers passing, that might have kneecapped that. I'm just not saying that's what happened. This is a theory on my part, a production theory, is that they were going to do a shorter season. We lose Carl Weathers, and it's like, oh, now we've just lost 2 episodes worth of content. And so, we have to change it and move it out. And then they're just like, fuck it, let's move on. I mean, that's just the theory. We'll see. We'll know what was happening sooner than later, I think, on that. But though Wayne initially says no to a 4th season, he follows it up questioning why Lucasfilm or Disney would abandon the platform, The Mandalorian, that is from what it is today, which makes it seem as if Wayne wants Disney Plus series to continue. Yeah, I think Wayne is like, I love being the Mandalorian, and I want to do 3 movies and another show, and I want to be in the Boba Fett season 2, and I want to be in a, which I don't blame him. I mean, that's a fun part, And one day I took the kids over to that set, and I don't know which one it was. I don't know if it was Brendan Wayne. What's the other guy's name with the cool hair? Latif, or Pedro. I doubt it was Pedro. I don't think Pedro would be out in the hot sun, to be honest with you. But but we went down there one day and they're in the costume. And they were like waving to Luke and Penny, and I was like, oh, that's you could tell everybody around him was pissed. Everybody around them was like annoyed, but the guy in the suit was like, "Hey, children." I was like, yeah. I was like, that's a G right there. All right. Oh well. Okay. So, anyways, I don't think am I skipping anything? Personally, I think that it's one or the other. Did I skip
it? You go up like 2 lines, whatever.
2 lines. Okay. Though Wayne initially says no to a 4th season, he follows it up by questioning why Lucasfilm or Disney would abandon the platform that made The Mandalorian what it is today, which makes it seem as if Wayne wants the Disney Plus series to continue, all the while pushing the idea of doing 3 theatrical release movies for The Mandalorian. Personally, I think it's one or the other. Either The Mandalorian story continues on the big screen, or the story continued on the streaming service. If The Mandalorian Grogu performs well at the box office, remember Disney these days are focusing on theatrical releases instead of streaming, then I'm sure that story will be continued to be told on the big screen and that the streaming series will be abandoned. And you say abandoned in quotations, meaning like it graduated, so to speak.
Well, not even. I put that in there because he's talking about why would you abandon the thing that
Yeah.
made it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just think he wants to get paid. I think he wants do the movies, get the bag for the movies, go then straight back to streaming, show up in like you said in Book of Boba Fett 2,
Mhm.
show up in Ahsoka 2 or whatever else he wants to do, and
Yeah.
just keep the money train rolling. Because like
Yeah.
I said, I listened to the full thing and he talks about like making money from this, and he
Right.
talks about conventions, and they were like talking about Daniel Logan. They were like he did a few minutes in episode 2, and now he's set for life just doing cons, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
And
And
he
Brendan
was
Wayne, though, do you think he's rich from his grandpappy?
it doesn't I don't know, he didn't give that like thing. He said he doesn't control any of the estate.
His grandfather is John
John,
Wayne.
yeah,
So
he said he doesn't control any of the estate that his uncle
yeah.
does in that interview.
Yeah.
But he was talking. I don't think he's rich because he was talking about like whilst he was filming the first season of The Mandalorian,
Yeah.
he was a bartender,
Okay. Yeah, he's not
and
rich.
yeah.
Yeah. He's
So
one of
he's talk.
us. One
Yeah.
of
So
us.
he's saying with like obviously making money from it, like they said the con thing. He was like, I don't want to be one of those guys that goes around charging people $200,
Right.
like for you to see me and sign an autograph. He
Mhm.
was like, you made $200 working last night, and I'm gonna take that off from you. He doesn't want to do that. He
Yeah.
doesn't agree with it.
Right.
Obviously there's a lot of Star Wars people that do. Um,
Mhm.
you know,
Well,
um,
people got bills, they got
yeah.
kids, they
But
got, all kinds of
his
things.
thing
Yeah,
is
I
like
know.
he is not opposed to the cons. Like he'll do them,
Yeah.
but he doesn't want to charge egregious amounts.
Mhm.
It's like what Kurt Cobain used to say about concerts, right?
Mhm.
Like when they were charging like $200 a ticket, I think for Madonna at the time, he was
Yeah.
like, "That's like screwed up,"
Yeah.
he wouldn't do that. You know, sometimes these days to go and see like The Weeknd or Drake or something, you got to spend like $1,000 for a night. But yeah, this no, like I said, he seems like a down to earth guy,
Yeah.
and he something interesting in there was he was told to like the first year or two he wasn't allowed to do cons for the
Right.
Mandalorian. Other
Right.
people could who was in the show,
Mhm.
but he was told he wasn't allowed. I was like,
Yeah.
that's interesting. Like, why would they deny him that? Is it because of the Pedro like PR thing? Like, what is it? Like,
That's what it was.
yeah,
That's what it was because I mean, we were remember the first, I don't know, 2019, 2021, 22,
mm-hmm,
the first 4 years of the
mm-hmm,
Mandalorian, we were having to be like, Pedro's not there. And everybody's like, no, I love Pedro. He's my TikTok daddy. And he's in
yeah.
every scene in the suits. And we're just like, no,
That's
nobody's fucking seen Pedro for like 6 months. I don't know what you're talking about, you know?
that's not just the first like couple years. That's literally every single year. That was last year. Like when I would write,
I, start,
like
I started blocking it out, you know?
it became like headlines on like Twitter. Like Besma Bolter says that Pedro is never in the suit. It's like, well,
Yeah, he's not.
where have you been? Like
Yeah.
we covered the Mandalorian season 3 pretty extensively, and like I was literally hitting up a guy every day. Is Pedro? Because I knew Pedro's schedule for The Last of Us,
Mm-hmm.
so I was like, is he there today? Is he? Because I was like, he's bound to show up, right? Like when he's got these 2 month long breaks, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
No, did he fuck? Like so?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like from the very very start, you I got the Pedro was the Mando scoop.
Hmm.
They were already filming
Yeah.
when he hadn't signed. And then towards the back end of season 1, they were fighting. He wanted, like, they were hammering out the deal, and he wanted money. And I heard I heard Iger, but I've always been a bit reserved on Iger himself having
Hmm.
been the one to make this call. I think it was maybe more metaphorical, like the powers that be. But they were like, yeah, Iger said he's just a voice actor. We're not paying him whatever he wanted. And then so then that's when we weren't supposed to see the Mando's face. And then that's when they go and they show his face in the first season after that was going down. And I even think I don't know for certain, but I wouldn't be surprised if that sequence was filmed very very late, and they were
Hmm.
already filming season 2 before we even saw season 1.
Hmm.
And so anyways though, And then like other people heard what was going on during like season 2 was already done. Like I think Grace Randolph had like heard what she heard was true from a certain point of view. It just wasn't it wasn't timely. It wasn't that wasn't when it happened. And so when all is said and done, it's kind of funny when you look back at it because they have this thing where he's like, "Yeah, pay me. I'll show my face. I want to show my face." They're like, "This character doesn't show his face." So then they make this whole lore around it. That's how that comes about. So I don't even think they've even officially like touched on how that came about. This whole no face bullshit. You know what I mean? Like how that
Mhm.
like the whole thing with that. That's all
But
been
then,
danced
but
around
then you
still
have,
at this point. Yeah.
but then you have the opposite thing of like in season 2, it's about him meeting and discovering other people who are Mandalorians or what it means to be a Mandalorian in Bo-Katan and Boba Fett
Right.
and whatever, right? And they like, have the helmets off and they tell him that his way of thinking, his like cult way is, dogmatic and it's all this stuff. And, it doesn't mean that. So obviously when he takes it off, when he does it in front of Mayfield and then he does it obviously at the end to Grogu, like
Mm-hmm.
it's telling him, it's showing what he is going to be, right? Like,
Mm.
and then
Yeah.
with the third season, that was delayed. Like Pedro only did Last of Us because he had a big gap in his schedule because season 3 was delayed in filming by like months.
Right.
So when he did that, like I genuinely believe that that season was changed a fair bit because they thought they were going to have him, and this story that they concocted would have resulted in him having his helmet off a few more times, at least
Right.
throughout the season.
Mm-hmm.
But then Pedro obviously took up a thing which in the contract they had like first priority for The Last of Us, so that was it. That was all he could do, and they were like,
Yeah.
right, well, we need to write it in the sense that like he doesn't take his helmet off, even though that's what we've been building to, and this character arc and growth and of him growing out of the cult. We're not going to double down into the cult.
Yeah.
So yeah, and in a weird way, it's like yeah, they were fighting. He said in that first season because Pedro wanted to have his face in it. He wanted to be paid not as a voice actor, but as a performer, like physically showing up as well.
Right.
And now it's like yeah, he's now just basically a voice actor.
Yeah.
So and he
Yeah.
would,
This. No one's ever said this, but my take I think he might have a little bit of like, oh, you guys fought against me,
but
so
there's
I don't think he
yeah,
prioritizes them for that very reason.
but there's
But
there's the thing now going on. So like this movie is a brand new thing. The contracts need to be renegotiated with everybody,
mm-hmm.
basically.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like the Moana sequel that's coming out in November, that was a series. So everybody was negotiated and paid for as a series person.
Mm-hmm.
You now go into the movies, so like people like The Rock are like, hold on, I charge a different fee for that, and I want maybe
Oh,
X amount of percent for the box office, whatever it may be, right?
did you know
So
he's box office by Viagra franchise
John
Viagra?
Campia told me this in 20 fucking 13 or some shit. Yeah, like
I
um
don't fucking understand
no,
why The Rock isn't a bartender, to be honest with you.
yeah, but that's the thing. So like you now go into the thing of Pedro, where he's like he's contracted to a show, right? This is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a new negotiation thing. Chances are he's not going to show up because this film's in June and Fantastic Four starts filming in the summer,
Right.
and I think he's going to film Ari Aster's movie Eddington before he even does Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have the gap, but again, he still will need to renegotiate for the voice, And if
Right.
you're Pedro, like at that point, you're Mr. Fantastic. Like you got to see him as Mr. Fantastic before the movie even comes out,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So if I'm Pedro, I'm renegotiating for like maybe a percentage of the box office, like
Mm.
because he's gonna be the guy you send out to promote this. And like we said before, like when me and you have talked about Fantastic Four, like just when we play Fortnite or whatever, we talk about like having him is a PR dream
Oh
because you'll
yeah.
send him and he'll do the interviews, but all the interviews he does like pretty much go viral, and he has all
He knows
these
how to perform for social media, which
yeah
most actors don't really have that kind of I don't know.
charisma, yeah,
Yeah,
like
that kind of charisma and that
yeah,
kind of like he knows how to like throw a bunch of opportunities out and then one of the
mm,
opportunities catch,
yeah.
you
So
know.
like when he's gonna do press, there's gonna be a bazillion TikToks made of him and like the film accounts are gonna pick him up on like like if he's calling himself Zaddy or whatever he does, like there's gonna be like things to catch. And if he's there and you've got a big poster behind him that says the Mandalorian Grogu, and you've got
Mm-hmm.
all these like fan edits being made and being seen by millions, that's
Right.
like the best sort of promotion you can get. Like nobody's really going to do that for like Giancarlo Esposito. Like
No.
he's a fun dude. He's a fun dude to listen to, and I
Yeah.
think he's a great guy. But like he doesn't get that sort of treatment, right? Like
Yeah.
so having Pedro do that, even like if even Rosario for the crossover movie doesn't get that. Like beautiful woman, talented actress, but she ain't no Pedro, she ain't no Zaddy,
Right.
So yeah.
Thank you for the super sticker, Stephanie. And Stephanie asked, "Do you think that Lateef and Brendan will be listed along with Pedro in the credits of the movie as Din, or will they be listed as stunt performers?" That changed on the television show, I believe, where it would have both of the other guys together, but not as stunt performers. And I think that when they go to make that movie, and it's Lateef and Brendan in the costume like all the time, because I do think we'll see Pedro's face in it at some point, even if it's just him waking up and shaving and talking to Grogu. I think they will get it in there, but that's also a shot that you can do after
I
production.
mean, yeah, like the movie comes out in May 2026. By the time they
Right.
wrap it, it's like October, is what I heard.
Yeah.
You've got a year and a half in production,
Yeah.
in post production. Like,
Right.
yeah, Pedro's gonna be free at some point, so you can contract like get him to do a day some
Mm-hmm.
way, you know?
Yeah, because if we took the totality of all of his face experiences in the movies, it's probably less than a week to 2 weeks of shooting.
Yeah,
And that's in that one, the Bill Burr episode where his
yeah,
mask
yeah.
is off and he's playing the stormtrooper. I don't think we're gonna get that even. I would bet against it, but I do think that we're likely going to see his face. And I do think that, yeah, I don't think that they would just get the stunt credit. I think that they would get more because season 3 was more forthcoming about the reality of the situation. I think they realized that people liked it, they understood what it was, so I don't think that they had to play that game anymore.
Yeah.
And I think they're going to slowly kind of roll it out,
Also,
and mhm,
as part of the Pedro PR machine, you
right.
want his face in it, even
Yeah.
just for one shot. You want his face in there
Right.
because even if the movie like says it makes like it's profitable at the box office, right? And he has that on his CV. It was like, yeah, I appear in this, like not just
Right.
as a voice, but I am physically there. So you know, it helps him. You want that positive PR.
Which movie do you predict Grogu gets the helmet?
The
It's got to
last one.
happen. It's got to happen in one of the movies.
I think it's the last one. I think
It's the
like
last one.
yeah. So if there is a third movie, it's got to be that one.
Yeah, yeah. Well, see, I think the third one being the most, well, roll it back for what we were just talking about with Pedro's renegotiation that will clearly happen with the movies or has already happened. I think that would be the most detrimental thing to there being a third movie. Is
Mm,
that right now when they go to negotiate the first movie and the second movie, or if they already have, and the third movie is a possibility, that possibility means a price increase for Pedro.
mm,
So you know what I mean? They would have to really kind of know, oh, we really do probably intend on doing this if that's where it's going to go.
mm.
But with the third one being the most subjective, I don't believe there's any fucking way in the world they are not putting a helmet on that little fucker and selling the toys as soon as possible. And so I think that like you'd have the Hasbro corporate Disney side being like, do it now, But then you might have, but then because it's a variant that you can do, there's more products you could make. But then you would have the creatives being like, yeah, we want to get there, but we're not there yet. You know what I mean? We want to make it into a big thing when it happens.
What if he sort of has the Mando thing of he sort of pieces it together as the movies go? So to
Yeah,
sell toys and like to say in the Mandalorian Grogu, we know he has like the chainmail, right? But what if they start giving him small pieces of armor,
that's been we
right?
just figured it out. We've already
Yeah,
seen that begin. He got the chainmail like you said.
yeah.
We got another piece, didn't he? Did he get another piece?
No, he just had IG like 11 or whatever.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah, yeah. But I mean, and when we see the children in season 3, they're around his age who have helmets
Mm,
on. They're around. They're, probably 8 years old,
yeah,
and he's probably 5 years old ish.
yeah,
So in the next year or two of his development, whatever, however that timeline goes, he should be getting that helmet pretty soon. Yeah,
mm,
he got his logo chest piece as a shirt. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, his Marty McFly, Clint Eastwood oven
yeah.
stove thing. Yeah, that's right.
So that's the thing. So if like in the Mandalorian Grogu, he has like because they always make things with him that are sellable. And
Mm-hmm.
I think the Grogu like figures have become tiresome. Of like, oh, here's him with a ball. Here's him with a frog.
I've
Like,
already bought my kids enough of the things that are like the things that we got, so that I say no
yeah, yeah,
now. As a
yeah, yeah,
father, I want a plush. Oh, plush Grogu, I want that. I'm like, you got a better one at home
yeah,
than that one. But if they're like, but this one, it's got the Mando helmet and his cape, then I'm like,
yeah,
fucking checkmate,
yeah, yeah,
sold. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
on that kind of stuff. Ray of Water asks, wonder if the little dude's gonna talk. His first words should be merchandise. That's what I predict.
We know what his first words are gonna be. He
Mm-hmm.
tries to say it in The Mandalorian season 3.
Mm-hmm.
Like Bo says, this is the way. Din says it, and then he tries to say it, and they both
But
just look at him.
badonkadong,
Is that what he's saying when he saw Bo-Katan walking?
he's all badonkadonk.
Yeah,
And then when they get back to Ahsoka, he's like badonkadonk, badonkadonk. But and
yeah,
then that's just what he says, and that becomes his new name.
yeah.
Okay, probably not.
I think his first words will be, "This is the way."
Yeah,
Like he tries to say it, so I think and he hears it all the fucking time. So
yeah,
like, you know,
yeah. He's like probably fucking sick of hearing it. Yeah. When that happens, man, they gotta get that down though, because it's a lot.
yeah,
It's not like, he just goes like Luke, and you're like, oh my god, he said Luke, and then everybody's like claps. It's
yeah,
gonna be like, this is the way. They're gonna. I hope they spend 2 weeks on that,
hmm,
recording that right. Okay, you wrote in your article. Lastly, Wayne was finally asked about the rumors of the Mandalorian and Grogu starting to film in June. This is the important part. Something that's been reported multiple times from various outlets over the last couple of months. Wayne kept his answer brief, but confirmed the June start, saying, "That's what I heard. That's what I keep reading." I think Jon Favreau said June. So it's kind of funny because he goes, "That's what I heard," which is okay. And then he's all, "That's what I keep reading," which makes it the internet's fault, the internet's problem.
yeah,
And then he says, "I think that's what Jon Favreau said."
yeah,
So that right there is I think it's as good of a confirmation without Lucasfilm
yeah.
moving forward.
I never would have covered anything he said in this if he hadn't said that part that you've highlighted.
Yeah.
If he just said that's what I hear, that's what I keep reading, I wouldn't have touched it. If it was all the other stuff he said about the 3 movies, I wouldn't have bothered. But because this is here, it's like, okay, like we can add that in because it's the actual story, and then it gives context to the rest of the stuff of because when he's saying the 3 movies, he doesn't know anything, and he says that he just wants it to be and thinks it makes the most sense.
Right.
Um,
Right.
like I said, he's even playing coy about the second Mando movie, the Filoni one. So
Right. What just occurred to me
mm,
is they theoretically could go film this movie, get it done, and then do the season after with the amount of time that they have. And they would have time to know what the movie was and to make that season roll into it strongly.
but
Do you
if
think that
but if
doesn't that seem possible?
I think the way it's gonna
I don't think they
go,
will. I don't think they
no,
will
no, no,
do
no.
that.
I don't
But
think
I
they'll do
mean,
that
but
either. But I
is
think
it possible?
so. If they're like started filming on this basically 2 years before the movie comes out, I think
Yeah.
they'll do something similar to the crossover movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's probably gonna have a lot more moving parts to it as well because you're trying to get so many actors in. It's probably gonna be a larger scale, bigger budget. It's the crossover event. So I think not. I think like once this is done and out, that's when they'll be deciding the fate of the rest of this, right?
Yeah.
And they'll then say, okay, it's doing well, like start shooting that movie in the fall to come out in 2028 or wherever it's going to be, So like if they're going to start at a similar pace as they have this time,
Oh,
I think it's
right.
going to be that. Because like look at how they did this movie. It was series, got into some with all the strikes, and still series. Strikes got too long, becomes a movie, and then it seems as if we were going back into series time because they got resolved in November, and then boom, out of nowhere, it was like, yeah, it's officially a movie now, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I think they can change their minds and like just decide, and it might be because of how they shoot these things, like that they don't need to be like, we need to prep Pinewood for a year in advance for this. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, I think that it, the fate won't be decided till like 2026. So I
One of
think that
one of my fears is that the second movie, the Filoni one,
yeah,
that it's just like a lot of freebie stuff
mhm,
from the first movie. The sets have already been constructed and stored
right,
away, and they just pull them out, and it's all gonna. I do think it's gonna be a volume based movie.
it is, yeah,
Yeah, considering that they're filming it here. So, but the thing about the Filoni one is that it is the crossover one. It's the one that where we assume we go out, we Peridia is involved and stuff like that, most likely, in theory, anyways. But there's a lot of story that could come between now and
hmm,
then with a whole season of Ahsoka coming.
yeah,
I mean, just look at the end of Ahsoka 1, how we end up with Thrawn back and how that played in with Mando 3. And so another season of Ahsoka is likely going to move this story out into a place that we can't necessarily fathom at the moment
yeah,
with the data that we have,
and the
story
release of
data.
Ahsoka will is a good chance that like that doesn't come until after this movie.
Yeah.
You can get this in like May, and in like in the fall you get Ahsoka. You
Yeah.
know, so
Ray of Water asks if it's 3 movies, who directs the third one?
I
Do you
think
think
it's
they give
Favreau Filoni.
could be if there's 3, it could be Famuyiwa as well. He's in there. He's up there with those guys. He's the
But
well,
if it's
I don't know
if
if they
it's
would, but
if it's the end,
yeah.
you'd think Favreau might want to be the one to say, okay, like
Hmm.
this is my character. I like set all this emotion. I want to be the one to say goodbye,
Yeah.
essentially. Um, but like Brendan Wayne in this is like, no, Dave needs to be there to do the third. Like he's pushing Dave for the third movie. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, anyway, and then you go on to write. Though there was a ton of tidbits for fans desperate for any information regarding the Mandalorian Grogu, the interview was a fun one to listen to, and we got confirmation from one of the stars that filming of the movie is due to begin in June, just 3 months away. It feels like we've had a lot of false dawns when it comes to getting a Star Wars movie in the theaters following the rise of Skywalker, but it appears that this one will actually come to fruition. Oh, and Wayne also confirmed that he's the Din Djarin suit for character's upcoming Star Tours appearance. So he's Din in Star Tours.
mhm.
Yeah, which is a pretty. I mean that's a pretty big one to get for him too,
Yeah.
because that's pretty defining or
And then
whatever.
at the bottom of this article, you can see that
Oh
you
yeah.
can support me on Coffee or Patreon. We've actually lost Patreon subscribers.
Mm.
Um, so that'd be cool if anybody could support in any which way possible. I had a coffee come through whilst we've been on.
Nice.
Um, so I don't know where that is, but yeah, like that's it's always appreciated and thankful. So that's how you support me. It was Legal Eagle who fights our battles on Reddit.
Oh, Legal Eagle.
What a legend.
Legal Eagle is the only real motherfucker on that whole fucking subreddit for the most part. You know what I mean? That like I don't know him.
mhm,
And then you just like see him and he's just like, no, you're wrong. Like, here's what this is. And they're like, oh, well, we like our hyperbole. I love that guy. Don't know him at all,
mhm.
but love him.
Yeah, yeah,
Want to kiss him on his pretty mouth. You know
yeah.
what I
He's a
mean?
great guy. He seems to listen to everything and like that we say and gives it to it factually instead of just like bullet points and whatever else.
Yeah.
But yeah, so obviously that's how you support me. I support Jason become a channel member, like the show, comment, become a Patreon member. Because everything that happens on this show is for Jason. Like
Right.
this is Jason.
Just me.
I'm here as a mate. I'm here as a friend, and so is like Rob. We're here to like have a chat with our buddy. You know,
That's me.
that's him. So
Okay. So should we go on to your next one?
yeah. We spent 45 minutes on that. You can tell Rob isn't here because we didn't go like down a massive sidetrack of
Golden Girls. We weren't talking about Golden Girls and
we
Leah
weren't talking about
Thompson.
Family Ties and James Cameron. So
You know what? The one thing he likes better than us?
mhm.
Costco pizza. Just a fact. March 10th, 2024. So this one's from yesterday. Daisy Ridley's Star Wars New Jedi Order movie could shoot in late 2024 or early 2025, according to the actress. So, yeah. So we can stop with all of the stupid fucking bullshit that it's filming next
In April.
month.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's been so fucking annoying. It's like they put out some fillers
Mm.
for the cast. I think it was sort of like a hey, casting agents and so on. Big productions coming and we're going to need you. Keep an eye out. And then somebody gets the casting grid and then then they go from there. They just start going, oh, it's filming and blah blah blah. And I believe that the person who was pushing it the hardest knows it wasn't fucking true. But you know what? Gotta get those
money.
Patreons.
Yeah.
Gotta get those Patreons up.
The information is just, and it's the thing I've been saying all the time, is just that it's outdated. Like this,
Yeah.
April was the plan. In summer, before we had the strikes or during the strikes, April is what they wanted. Like they wanted to get casting underway by Labor Day of last year,
Right.
and then they
Yeah.
wanted to start shooting in April. That like
Right.
plans have changed. We had like 2 big strikes, which like changed the industry and shifted things around. Like we're still feeling the effects of that now and will for like another couple of years. So yeah, like that was outdated information, and everybody corrected themselves. Like me and you, who we were gonna have people on it, you know,
Mm-hmm.
like they were like, yeah, we're gonna go next year. Like when Snyder first said April, it was not too long later we had people saying, yeah, we're prepping for that.
When Snyder said April, I was being told they were going to be going by the summer.
Yeah.
That it was going to be like by the summer. Why the summertime is the best time to film. And and when you're filming out in some of the places of the world, might be snow, might be the weather is inhospitable. And I still think that little point right there, I don't know what the sets are. We don't know, so I'm only assuming. But with that in mind, I still think that that's going to be somewhat true.
Yeah.
So
it's April in the UK is generally pretty good, right? Like that's when they were going to film. Like this year, generally pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, but that was all that information, and then once all the strikes happened, everybody corrected themselves. Like, yeah, no, not April.
Right.
Like Stephen Knight, like look at the positions he's in. He's not turned in like a script yet, or like a version of a draft to shoot.
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, we got time. I just hated that like having to, like the stupid like a new beginning rumor just has been going around since like last year since they announced it.
God, yeah, that SC, it's an SEO driven grift story that goes around. There's also another version of the same one that Star Wars is filming in buttfuck Indiana. Star Wars is filming in Dick Cheese, Arizona. Every fucking like they just do it because then these towns go, oh my god, it's coming, and then they all start talking about it, and it's just to get the ad revenue.
Yeah, it's just like I said, it's
but on the fake one, people real quote reputable in quotations started reporting on the SEO stuff like, oh, they instead of stealing the story from us, they were stealing it from a lie from a SEO fucking grifter. That's the comedy of it. That's where we're at right now.
I tell you what I like. This relates to the other article we're gonna read. I tell you what I like at the moment. Like last year in September, I put out the stories, right? Acolyte Cinema, Skeleton Crew November, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And you have these other like websites, other outlets, all saying it's going to come out in the summer for no reason. We don't know why Acolyte's coming out in the summer, but we think it's summer. And now they're like, oh yeah. Skeleton Crew is going to come out in autumn. It's going to come out in the fall because we've always known that. We've always shared that.
Remember,
like,
remember when we were having to fight with people that they said it was coming out January 1st?
Yeah.
Because of a filing on a copyright thing.
It's like we're in the middle of December, about to hit Christmas, and they're like, it's coming out next month.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's
yeah. I don't like I don't. I'm gonna to not make it about me. I'm gonna make it about you.
Yeah.
If you come and you say something is going to happen at this point, after all of the stuff that you've reported, what the fuck? Like why would you go, you know what? I'm gonna listen to this instead.
Yeah.
Like it just, but once again, it's content creators who know better, who don't give a fuck because it's an excuse to make a new piece of content that they get revenue from. So they're okay. They'll play stupid as fuck all day long. And it's just like, I have zero fucking respect for 99% of entertainment journalists and Star Wars journalists, especially Star Wars. I don't know if Star Wars journalist is a word, but Star Wars, you know, fan
like
sites and fan
and YouTube and
podcasts
like,
and whatever. Yeah, the fucking Twitter accounts that are just like, oh, give me validation, you know. It's just crazy, but here that's why we live in the world that we do. Also, got to put a moratorium on this fucking picture of Rey with the stupid lightsaber. If I could never see this picture again. I feel like I've seen this picture more than I've seen her in the movies now, because we've been like on this story. And I guarantee you, when we get to the fucking movie, this lightsaber, this clunky piece of shit, isn't going to even be in the movie. 15 years later, this shit, you know, got lost, smuggled up a Wookiee's butt or something, and she had to make a new one. So it won't even be that thing in the end, I don't think. But I'm sure they'll take the parts out of it and say like, oh, it changed over the years, and because it's different pieces of people's lightsabers. So I think that they have to keep some of it, but it won't be that. I think it's too clunky. All right, so you wrote yesterday, Bespin wrote, it's been almost an entire year since Daisy Ridley made a surprise appearance at last year's Star Wars Celebration and confirmed her return to the galaxy far, far away in the form of a brand new movie. However, there's been very minor updates ever since. What? Daisy Ridley has spent the past few days at South by Southwest, where her film Magpie premiered to mixed reviews, which has been a little trend with Diddley Ridley. The Murder on the Orient Express star has been doing press at South by Southwest for Magpie, and has spoken a few times about her upcoming untitled Star Wars film that will see her return as Rey Skywalker as Rey attempts to build a new Jedi Academy. During her Magpie promotion, Ridley revealed that the flick could begin filming towards the tail end of the year or early next year, telling Collider, I think it could be this year. It could be, but I'm not sure. I think, to be honest, the writer's strike has obviously delayed quite a lot of things. So the intention was later this year. Hopefully it will be. Otherwise, top of next, I would imagine. So that's Daisy Ridley. That's what she said. Top of the morning to you, Governor, is what she said at the end, I think. So, yeah. So basically, Daisy Ridley doesn't know anything, right?
She doesn't know much.
She has no fucking idea what's going on. Lucasfilm clearly isn't talking to her. She's doing press. And they're not, so, and then that makes me think if they're not talking to her, it's because they don't know what's going on either, to some extent. Yesterday, there was a false rumor being perpetuated that the film was canceled, and as luck would have it, it being, you know, the morning that it was, got in touch with the source who was available, and just said, no, it's still happening. Everything is still staffed. And there's been no staff shortages on, I won't get specific on that, but yeah. So if it doesn't happen, it wasn't canceled just now. If it gets canceled, it's going to be canceled later, not at this moment. But I still think, man, I mean, I think you're with me on that. I can't remember, but it makes sense to delay this by a year in terms of everything, and just to have it come after the Mando stuff.
Yeah, but we're in the weird position if like the Snyder stuff is true, of we're gonna go from Mando and Grogu to
Mm-hmm.
this.
Mm-hmm.
Then in 2027 it's Mangold, and in 2028 is the crossover movie.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna delay it till after all the Mando stuff is done, you're delaying this into the 2030s, which I don't think they'll do. But I do think that what they should do is delay Mando to December 2026,
Mm-hmm.
and then the Rey movie be December 2027.
Yeah.
You're gonna need something between it. I like the Mangold thing. I with the Mangold thing, we they've treated a lot of these projects as it's a standalone, but if it's successful, we'll do sequels.
Right.
So we don't know anything about that, but like if they're doing that for literally every film that they're greenlighting and saying, yeah, go start developing it, Taika, go start developing it, like Dave or whoever, right? Like
Yeah.
then there's a chance that like if that Mangold movie is a success, they're like people like that. We can continue flesh out that era, that time period. Let's do a sequel. People really like these characters. So you don't want to be starting like possibly essentially 3 trilogies or film series
Yeah.
in and amongst each other. So if I was them, I'd be like, okay, like Mando, we'll do that. We'll do the Ray one, do the Mando one, and then like another Ray. I wouldn't start like of trying to do 3 separate like film projects
Mm-hmm.
like overlapping every year because like we just talked about long running franchises and or film series on the decline.
Yeah.
Like we've talked about Marvel and superhero fatigue, and we've talked about people possibly saying in the past of Star Wars fatigue, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we could enter a thing of if they're doing a movie every year and we're jumping around from Mando to Rey to the first ever Jedi, it could get
Yeah.
like a bit
Yeah.
much with the series as well,
To like
Aaron.
step out. Imagine if you went to the theater and you saw Star Trek: The Next Generation movie, and then
Yeah.
a Captain Kirk movie, and then a fucking Deep Space Nine movie. People would just be like, "No, no,
And you have
I
the
wouldn't want to do
TV
that."
shows all going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Like that's a lot of shit. Because
Well, look at the last phase, dude. Like where they had like the sequel trilogy, and in between that, Rogue One, Solo was supposed to be Kenobi. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It was
yeah,
supposed to like go like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Supposed to have
I
Boba
mean,
Fett too.
yeah, and like, did you know? Was that the most desirable? Was that desirable?
No,
Do we want to repeat that?
no.
I don't. You know, and I think that billion from Rogue One makes them go, "Yep." But that
The,
billion from Rogue One was franchise momentum that it had at that moment in that
yeah,
particular time. I love the movie, but it's definitely like that I still don't even think Rogue One was $1 billion movie in
you
terms.
put
I
Rogue
mean, it
One out
was.
now, it'll be lucky to hit, like do 6, 7. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. It was like that. So I think that's coloring their perspective on that
until Solo made him
disorganization.
realize, like we heard from Mangold, right, when he was going to do a Boba Fett movie.
Yeah,
Once Solo hit and it bombed, it was like, yep, all those Star Wars stories gone. Like we can't do this.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, like no, if I was them, I wouldn't be looking to do that. I would try and I said I'd delay the Ray movie by a year. It
yeah,
gives the writers and the directors and everybody else more time to prep it and get it right for production instead of trying to rush it, which could be the fear of if they like Daisy saying because she clearly doesn't know. She's saying like maybe early next year. So if that doesn't happen, you slip till the summer. That movie's probably going to film like 4 months. You only have a year in post production then, whatever it may be. Like it's not enough. Like for this thing, you're gonna end up
mhm.
in a trough situation. You know.
Well,
So
so Ray of Water, who I feel like I'm usually on the same page as this person, wrote, "I don't want to be a negative Nancy, but I wouldn't be surprised if Charmin obeyed Chenoy and Stephen Knight depart. Not rooting for it, of course." And I'm 100% with you. Just if we were taking Vegas bets right now, if there
mhm,
was a thing we could bet. Yeah, I bet that by the end of it, um,
mhm.
I mean, so Charmin Obaid Chinoy was supposed to be doing a movie with Will Smith, and that's one of the things because I had heard that she had 2 movies besides Star Wars, and that one is falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if there's going to be anything like that's going to take her away from Star Wars, but I would imagine like after it's been in fucking pre-production for 5 years, the person's probably going to move on. And I don't mean this like in a bad way, like as an insult, but it's like, how many working years does Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy have in her to be waiting 6 years to make a fucking Star Wars movie? She could go be making other movies, and she
Mm-hmm.
hasn't really done many. She hasn't really done a feature. And if that's where she wants to take her career, she can't wait around for fucking ever waiting for Star Wars to get going. It wouldn't be smart now. But the Will Smith movie, I don't think it's happening. I think it's dead.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, it's what I put out the feelers on it yesterday because of the story. I was like, is anybody gonna? Maybe somebody will tell me. And one person who I know from that place was like, I haven't heard anything. I don't know if it's gone though. It's like, okay. So that was
Mm-hmm.
just it. So yeah, but I'm with you. And I also think when it comes to writers though, really good chance that if they would bring on Stephen Knight, he would do a draft. They'd be like, thank you, Mr. Knight. And then they would move on to the next writer. And classically, even back down to Rogue One, the writers who come onto the movies that are brought on to do a draft, they usually bring in a writer towards the end who's the on-set writer as well. And so would Stephen Knight be able, I don't know what he has on his docket entirely, but Stephen Knight doesn't seem like he would be there for it. So I think there would be another writer most likely anyways, even if it wasn't publicly credited. So,
You
and
also
if
know
there is
Knight.
one, we will hear about it. We'll know who it is, I'm sure. Right?
Yeah, like it'll come out through some way, even if it's like through us, through the trades, or through Snyder. It'll come out. And also, like Knight at the moment, he is busy with the Peaky Blinders film, which is supposed to film in around 3 months, maybe
Yeah.
4. So it's about to happen, and
But they're
with that,
filming Ray in April. What are you talking about?
I know. So yeah, but it's I don't know. Maybe they'll get Larry David on, and he'll just teach them how to improvise, and that's how they'll construct a movie. Maybe they'll Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen then or something.
Jeff
Make it
Garlin
without a
was in
script.
episode 9. It's possible.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah,
What did
there's
Rob get
no.
us at Costco?
What?
What did you get us at Costco?
Oh, Golden Girls.
Golden Girls?
Yeah,
Golden Girls on
just for
DVD?
Bestman. Yeah,
On
I
DVD,
got it for Bestman. Yeah.
Listen, I didn't say Golden Girls. That was
You can eat
Jason.
that shit, so I dragged the show out
Yeah.
for an hour, buddy. You know. Hey,
Hey,
I'm
I
really
didn't
hoping
say
they
Golden
cast.
Girls.
I'm really hoping they cast Corinne Bohrer. You know, Jason,
It is
Corinne Bohrer
Jason.
from
There's more on the right
1989's
thing.
1989's hit series Free Spirit. She was also in Police Academy 4, Citizens on Patrol, and starred in the Vice Versa film from 1988 featuring Judge Reinhold and Fred Savage. Remember Corinne Bohrer?
Yeah, I do.
Beautiful. Still working. Should be great. Should be a great. I guess if Ray's going to be 70 years old in this movie, she could be right up in there too. It'll be like
No, she's not 70 anymore.
Yeah.
That's how we
It'll
got-
be
that's how we
the
got
Golden
Ridley back.
Sabers girls, right,
Golden-
Jason? The Golden
right.
Sabers girls. Yeah, can't wait.
I'm pretty sure that's a movie, but
What if
probably not
Kathleen
appropriate.
Kennedy just cast herself in the lead role? Right, we can.
I'm Ray. I'm old Ray.
I am Star Wars now. You know, like,
Yeah.
how about that? No.
Okay, wait. Okay, so you say when asked about the film's title, Kleider brought up to Ridley that the film was referred to as New Jedi Order during Star Wars Celebration in London last year, though nobody at Lucasfilm or Disney have confirmed if New Jedi Order is the official title. Ridley responded, I don't know. I mean, I think so far from the announcement, I don't think that's changed.
So she thinks it's called New Jedi Order.
Yeah. Huh. I hope not, but
It's better
at the
than a new
same time-
beginning.
Well,
What if she's Jedi Viagra?
the actual title that I would hate is Star Wars Rey.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like we got Mandalorian and Grogu and all that kind of shit. Yeah,
Hey,
I know.
it's Ray Day,
I
right?
know.
You'll see
I
that one.
watched Wonka last night, and when it's less like Wonka, I'm like, I'm like, yeah, okay, this has been done. We got to stop with these fucking just the one
See,
name.
The problem is Wonka was successful, Jason. See, it took 20 years of them trying to add
No
rise
more
to a
of the Ray
film,
one, Jason.
What?
right?
There's still more? You
Yeah.
fucking kidding me?
No.
What am I missing here?
You're just dragging the show out.
You brought
Destin,
this
with the
fucking
articles.
you put this thing in here. And I thought it was the last thing. I thought those were rolling out at the end. All right. Fans have often referred to the Rey Skywalker film as Star Wars New Jedi Order, based on the details shared at last year's Star Wars Celebration, which took place 11 months ago. It's been reported multiple times that the New Jedi Order was simply a working title in the past, even as recently as a couple of weeks ago when the title Star Wars A New Beginning was once again rumored as the film's title, as it is every few months from unreliable online sources. In March last year, Stephen Knight, Peaky Blinders, was brought on to pen the script for New Jedi Order following the departure of the film's original writers, Damon Lindelof and Justin Britt Gibson. Since then, there's been practically no updates on the script, and the Writers Guild of America strike, which took place from May 2023 until September 2023, meant that Knight's work on the project came to a grinding halt for 4 months. Ridley, towards the tail end of 2023, said she'd not read a script, and she was now revealed to Collider that she still hasn't, but that she expects to soon. I know a script is happening, and I'm going to be reading it imminently, which is very exciting. The New Jedi Order is set to be directed by Charmaine Obaid-Chinoy and currently does not have a release date. The Star Wars movie is slated to be released on May 22nd, 2026, and though Lucasfilm haven't confirmed it, it's believed that the date is being held for the Mandalorian Grogu, which begins filming in June. The next date listed for a Star Wars movie is December 18th, 2026. That sounds so far away. It's really not, but it sounds fucking like a decade away to me right now, which could be when fans will see Ridley's Rey Skywalker back on the big screen. Remember in the 90s when they used to always write the silver screen? I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Anyways, as a kid, I was like, the screen isn't silver. All right. Daisy Ridley can be seen in the Disney release Young Woman and the Sea, which due to receive a limited theatrical release on May 31st, 2024, after being bumped up from being a straight to Disney Plus release. All right, Bespin, did I do it all?
You did it all. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
What if they call it Peaky Sabers?
Peaky Sabers.
Right.
Yeah. Peaky Padmes. Star Wars, the Star Wars Skeleton Crew actor thinks the series could release this fall. Follows rumors of a November release. Look at this dumb fucking sneaky self. Also, I cannot wait until they release something new from this, so I don't have to look at this picture anymore either. You know, of him from this one shot that they've given us. Just all right. Actor Dane DeLiegro spoke with the direct on the red carpet for his latest film, Imaginary. Just as expected with all actors attached to a Star Wars project, he was, of course, asked about the Star Wars project, which has been linked with Skeleton Crew. The actor didn't share much about his role, just that he took part in a really cool sequence, and that his character wouldn't be anything substantial. However, the most interesting, I gotta give him credit for saying, "Hey, I'm not substantial. Like, really, don't build me up in this, please."
Mm-hmm.
However, the most interesting tidbit from the actor came when asked about the release of the series. DeLiegro, am I saying this right? DeLiegro, is that how you say it?
I have no idea.
Didn't
I
share
wrote
it.
it and didn't read it.
Okay, yeah. Shared any specifics, but he thinks he could release the fall of this year. I'm hoping by the fall, if I were to guess, that's completely surmising. There's no information behind that. I know that Lucasfilm likes to release things around November-ish, so I'm hoping by then. I've been meaning to reach out to the director, David Lowery. He's a friend of mine, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe November. I know Lucasfilm is due for something pretty cool, and I think Skeleton Crew might be that thing. So there's a lot of problems with that because obviously the thing that they're due for is Acolyte, and not Skeleton Crew. And then and like I was always saying before, you're gonna talk about it here. DeLiegro's comments follows a report of mine from September where I first broke that Skeleton Crew had been delayed into 2024 despite the series initially being planned for a holiday 2023 release. In the same September report, I showed exclusively that from what I had been told, Skeleton Crew had been delayed by an entire year and would hit our screens in November 2024. In late November 2023, Making Star Wars backed up my report and added that he too had heard that the series would air after Halloween 2024. Though Mayheim doesn't know when Skeleton Crew will air, he seems to think sometime in the fall, which only adds fuel to the past reports of a November 2024 release. My aforementioned report from September also exclusively shared that The Acolyte would release this summer. Collider reported a few weeks ago that the series was looking to release on June 5th. And that Andor had been delayed into early 2025. Jermaine Lucier of Gizmodo IO9 shared that he believes the second and final season will release in 2025 back in December. So even though you'd already said it, basically. But you know, when somebody else says it, then it matters. But before then, it doesn't matter. So, all right. Well, so Skeleton Crew. I mean, yeah. I mean, is that series even gonna matter? Is the question that I keep having. Like, is it gonna play into these Mando movies and stuff like that? Like, I would like to hear them comment on that a little bit. You know what I mean? Why it matters? Does it matter?
The more they're quiet, the more I think the rumors are true.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Any Skeleton Crew info and from the media would be nice. Says right, yeah. I'm like, I just, it's weird. It's weird how quiet they are about all of it. You know what I mean? About that whole thing with the date. It's weird. What's weird about it to me is that they went and said like, hey guys, this is a 2023 movie, I think, or series originally. They put it in there like coming to Disney Plus next year, and that's where we got that stupid shot of Jude Law. And then they're just like, oh, you know what? We're gonna push it way far and never even comment on it. Just never even touch it. Like,
they had it in that like little promo clip, right? That's coming to Disney Plus in 2023, but they also had it in multiple like Disney Plus calendars, like that dropped throughout the year. And then even when they were showing trailers for it at like events, like the upfront event and celebration, they were still saying this year, 2023, when they were showing it. So, like I said, on the run up to like when I put that article out, like in August, I was telling you, I was like, they need to make the decision pretty much like at that point for marketing reasons, because they couldn't say, okay, it's going to come out in November, and in August we haven't started the marketing, we haven't got the plan, anything. So they delayed it by an entire year. And then we're at the point now was, they haven't commented on it, but it's like anything at Lucasfilm, you know, they don't comment on anything. Like if a project is seemingly cancelled, or if it's hasn't an update on its development, like a Taika movie or something for a long time, they don't say anything. They wait until somebody who's in it or attached to it is just asked whilst they're promoting another project. And that's when we'll get an update. Like Daisy is going out again in May to promote Young Woman in the Sea. So again, she's going to be asked about Star Wars, and she'll have an update. But it might just be what we've had now, where it's like, I'm waiting to read a script.
Which is why I prefer the James Gunn approach of just debunking nonsense on threads. I disagree with Jason on that. I prefer that version of it.
If they did that, I would make 5 fake accounts. I would get them blown up, and then I would be able to whittle out the story. I would be able to whittle out the facts.
Investment could eat. Like,
no, it would be great for us. Don't get me wrong. But it's a terrible methodology in totality. There's no way James Gunn, if the interest is there, which I think there is, there's no way he could keep that up. There has to come a point where he has to go, I cannot comment on this stuff anymore. It will have to go that way, because you will like.
Do you think that'll be what timeline do you think that'll be? You think that's a year? Do you think that's 2 years from now? Like, when do you think that hits a threshold?
After he films it.
After he films it?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I would think so. And but I mean, I agree. Like, when there's like obvious bullshit, like we had to fire fucking, you know, a Jawa off the movie, and it's not true, and it's like somebody's actually being disparaged. It's fine to go, this is just bullshit. Like, I agree with, like, not, you know, with interceding into that kind of moment, but but that's why they don't do it. But at the same time, they overcorrect on that. Like, they don't say anything, then they cross their arms at the internet and get mad and like side eye it and scoff at it and infantilize it because it's so fucking stupid, which it is. But they don't acknowledge that they create that they help shape the communities in which that happens. Does that make sense? Like that's generally like how it goes with them. And it's like, oh, they're wrong, stupid. Yeah, but it's like, you know what you're doing is like fundamentally confusing. Like, we're not updated, we're not on the same page, we're not with you, we don't feel like you're with us. And that's a big problem at Lucasfilm, is they feel like it feels like they are against everyone.
Right.
I you know what I mean? I get being against the culture warrior fucking idiots on both sides. Fuck both of them. I hate them both. I think they're fucking terrible people. The culture warriors on both sides are shit. It's not about anything. It's about making money and gratification and being told that they're great.
Well,
it doesn't help Star Wars and it doesn't help society.
They're not just a movie studio though. They want to play the whole we're a movie studio and like, no, you're not. You have a convention. I mean, no offense, dude. Like, you're not. You're closer to a sports team, dude, in that sense, or a rock band on some, like a Kiss thing. Like, I mean, you're some, you know what I mean? They're more like, they're way more
machines.
Right. So it's like, you want this rabid cult base to come out there and give you $1 billion anytime you throw shit at a wall, but then you're like, oh no, we don't owe them anything. You kind of do. You kind of do owe them to know what to expect, because the world isn't 1983 anymore, despite how much I love talking about films from 1983, right, Passman? It's not 1983.
You keep saying me. Jason's the one who said that. Jason Goldsmith said Golden Girls.
No, you talked about how I derailed the whole show. I blame you. So I was going to say $60 today too, but I'm not going to do it.
When did I say you derailed the show?
You want me to reel it back? I was listening to you right in the way I was driving on the road.
But I didn't
drag
say
the show out,
and
derail
Golden
it,
Girls.
talking about 80s stuff. And
no. I said James Cameron.
Use Golden Girls
Family
and
Matters,
James Cameron.
I said Golden Girls.
Jason said Golden Girls.
And
Jason said 80s.
Yes.
So
that was me.
But no, they really.
So can I have this $50?
Huh?
Can I have this 50?
Hey, how many super chats that I gave you last year? I think you got $50 from me.
All right, fair enough. Fair enough.
If you count what I gave Santa when you were on his show alone, it's ridiculous. But
he just uses that for his North Pole and R&D.
I'm gonna cut Santa off. Anyhow, literally though, like I do think they owe everyone like some sort of like clue. I mean, as a fan of James Cameron, I know what he's working on. It's not a big secret. You know what I mean? Like, well, it's not hard.
Loyalty goes both ways, right?
It really does, dude. It goes both ways. And I think James Gunn has been building good loyalty, since he took over.
To be clear, I like what Gunn does. Gunn is how I would do it. You know what I mean? But when you get down to it, every single day there's a fake Star Wars story. And and then when do you comment? When do you not? When, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. And it's like Gunn has a pretty good like grasp of when to do it, when not to. I don't believe Lucasfilm ever would either. I don't think like under the current like, I don't know. I don't even know. Does Kathleen Kennedy even have a secret Twitter account? You know what I'm saying? Like, she doesn't have a main Twitter account.
The fact that people have secret accounts baffles me, Jason. That doesn't even make sense to me. I don't know how people have that kind of time. But I can't even say like this reminds me of Lucas Star Wars, because they at least, they got ahead of the curve on a lot of stuff, with the Star Wars directs or those even the magazine or whatever. Like, it wasn't a big secret when Lucas was doing something, Yeah. But this is the biggest fault I've had with Kathleen Kennedy in general, like her way she runs it. She runs it really like it's Amblin. If Amblin had a convention in a goddamn theme park, I don't know. We'll see what Stevens maybe he's doing ET. Maybe he's doing Indiana Jones. No, they just color purple. And you're like, all right. I mean, Empire of the Sun. You're like, okay. I mean, those are good movies, but see, we're not going to conventions for those. Like we're not buying the books. And hey, can I also, before I forget, can I make a recommendation for Lucasfilm for the people listen, because I know they're listening in. Hey, could you offer a version of your audiobooks that don't have all the fucking music and sound effects attached to it?
Oh, I love
Because
it.
like
I love it.
because
No,
you
no,
can't
no.
speed it up or slow the fucking thing down
Oh, you can't?
without having the goddamn music like, sped up or the sound effects slowed down,
Mm.
Jason. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's ridiculous. We live in a world where like maybe I don't want to listen to this guy reading monotone. I want to pick up the pace while I'm on a walk or something. But I'm like, it's just damn music. And by the way, it's the same 6 tracks looped over and over, like Ben
Yeah.
Burt with the Duel of the Fates and the Phantom Menace. We were like, I guess he didn't have time to bring John Williams in to rescore it, so we'll just loop the music for an hour.
Yeah.
Know? So whatever. Just saying, man. Yeah, layered audio, please. For the love of God.
Bespin's picture now is Santa.
Yeah. Well, these are Red Hat.
Yeah, I like. I actually like the. In a perfect world for me, they would sort of radio drama the fuck out of those things, though. Like I would like them to keep going further with it. You know,
I appreciate it, but make it an option. You know what I mean? Let me get one that has nothing, right? And then give me the one that has the full thing. I'm not saying stop doing it because it has merits, but you know, people do listen to books on fast forward. They listen to podcasts on fast forward. This is not like a uncommon thing now. I just think this, you know,
you do
just
that too,
giving you
Bespin,
one.
don't you? You listen to podcasts on like double speed and shit.
Yeah, if it's an American, I listen to it at 2 speed. If it's a British person, it's 1.5. Just because British people speak a little bit faster.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that. I don't do that, but I sympathize with you guys. You know. All right. Well, did we do it all? Have we done it all?
I think so.
Hey, support Bespin, please. Please send him some money.
Hey,
you won't take my money. You refunded me 3 times this weekend. It's ridiculous.
And support me. Fuck Bespin.
That guy. Well, I don't know about that.
No, you know what? You know what? I read his articles today, and I don't think he likes Star Wars. So,
Jason didn't read my Jason didn't read my chats today, so don't send him any money.
Support. I didn't know you were even setting. I
didn't know.
I said Austin Powers was a trilogy too, Jason. Just letting you know.
Bespin, Santa's all. I'm on a Zoom call. I look over and see Bespin with my face in there. What's up with that? Laugh out loud.
I want to draw a face.
It's one of my favorite pictures of him.
It is.
You know when there's like Star Wars drama happening and he makes a YouTube thumbnail? It needs to be this picture.
Right.
It's a good one.
So, yeah. Santa, I love you. This is why I use it. It reminds me of DJ Khaled, but that's primarily why I use it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. Except
Santa play himself?
This Santa, he eats it.
Santa does play himself.
Unlike Khaled, this Santa eats it.
I could
this Santa goes to the sushi bar.
Santa finishes his hot wings. He doesn't wuss out on the second wing.
like Steve says, I wish I could listen to this at 1.5.
You're breaking my heart, Steve. You're breaking my heart.
You don't want to hear me on fast forward. I'm just letting you know. Speak so fast.
Yeah. Ray of Water says, when an upcoming movie loses a director, Santa should use that picture for the thumbnail. Laugh out loud.
When the new beginning title goes around again, Santa should use this thumbnail.
But if you do support me and Bespin, then we can take our Turkish vacation together to get hair transplants, and we'll come back. It'll be like 2 Brian Mays looking at you.
If you want to support me, you could go buy my new video game, Berserk Boy, available on Nintendo Switch and Steam Store.
Berserk Boy.
Berserk Boy. If you like Sonic the Hedgehog and you like Mega Man, then you're in good shape.
Yeah.
Do you think we take Santa with us to Turkey?
No, if he gets a hair transplant, he's out, dude.
I want to see
Santa.
I want to see Santa and Max go on a world tour. I would watch that show. Like so, like that. That would be the show for Rob. Like I would love this.
I'm pretty sure Max can go pick up hot Turkish guys while Santa pets the dogs of Instable. You know, I think it'd be a good time.
If they could team up with Indiana Jones, and there you go. There's
they end up going after an ancient artifact that could bring winter to the planet all year long, if it was misused.
But Santa's doing all this with that bloody head full of little holes. from his new improved hairline.
He comes back. He looks like you know how like when those guys do like the buff Jesus with like the fucking great hair, like
Yeah.
super hair. He comes back and he's like hot Santa.
You can get like fake like muscle implants, right? He just goes and gets that in Turkey as well, just like buff Santa.
Yeah.
Hey,
He gets it.
I just wanted to say I can give you confirmation that the new Ray film will be called Sweet Baby Ray's.
Baby Ray's.
Yeah.
Brought to you by barbecue sauce.
Yeah, well, I recommended. I wanted to be trendy, you know.
You did get like supposedly like $1 billion from Pepsi to make the prequels.
Shh, Jason. Marsha's listening. Don't.
So is Sweet Baby Ray stepped in?
Well, you know, yeah. Well, I mean, you know, the doctor says I have to stop eating Mongolian barbecue, so I'm gonna eat the barbecue.
Yeah, you always say Mongolian barbecue, but you know that's the thing where you take the food and then they cook it for you. You're just going to the mall and getting Chinese food. It's just Panda Express, buddy. You're not really doing anything that.
No, all the Mongols, they work there. They work at the food court.
No, you can't say that.
No.
You can't do that. No, George.
I don't know. I've been to Tunisia. I've been to Tunisia, and I think I can call them whatever the hell I want. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'll buy their whole country. I got the cash.
You got like $4 billion.
I put it all in crypto, so it's like, you know,
a little Larry David tell you to do that.
Was it Larry David's idea?
How'd you know? All right. Anyway, Sweet Baby Ray's coming to you May 27th, 2042. Okay. Bye.
When did the Mongols rule China? All right. Anyways, George is gone. All right. Well, we did it, guys. We did it. We got stuff to do today. It's called I think it's called Fortnite. Is that what it's called?
I like that comment from a toy fanboy. Sweet Baby Ray's ribbed for your pleasure.
Your lightsaber's ribbed. If you look at that picture Jason hates so much, it's the biggest, so fat, that saber, man. Jeez. Even for a staff, it's fat. Like, who designed that? It's not, I mean, Darth Maul's thing isn't that fat. I don't understand. I don't get it. It's so weird.
What do you think the chances are Asatrue can't join us in Fortnite today, though? I mean, he got in last time, so I think it stands to reason he can't come today.
Wow.
We'll see. Fingers crossed.
I'm not going to make the joke.
Fingers crossed.
Not going to make the joke.
But
we need you. There's so many mythological villains to fight right now. It's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah, we're going to kill Zeus today. That's our plan. Kill Zeus.
And we don't mean Tony Lister. We mean the actual Zeus.
Yeah. No. See, there you go right there. That was an old movie.
Yeah. I'm 40. 40
night.
That's
40 night. That'll be our little gang. Oh, sorry guys. We didn't play with you today. It was a 40 night only.
When we do esports, we'll be 40 night because we're 40.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Well, anyways, if there's any Star Wars news that breaks, I'll come back and get on, and I'll ask Rob if he's not at Costco or anything like that, if he could come on, and we'll cover it. And Bestman will write the article, and then I'll forget to read the whole thing. That's what will most likely will happen. Otherwise,
you just forget. Santa like actively chooses not to.
Oh, he doesn't want to read. Yeah,
he doesn't like reading.
Yeah, Santa one time told me reading is for dorks. What he said.
How does he get through the Christmas list?
He has slaves for that. Elves.
They sing it like Godspell. Like they wear all those rainbow outfits. It's ridiculous.
So, because Santa's member meeting just ended. Now we can pay attention. All right, that's fair.
Santa used to look just like Victor Garber in 1974. I have on good authority. The big fro, the whole bit. Yeah, they took it from him.
Well, after we all go to Turkey, he's gonna get it back. It's gonna look like Bob Ross in a Santa Claus suit.
I gotta tell you, it was the one thing about Titanic, Jason. When I saw it, when Victor Garber shows up, I'm like, he needs that fro, man. Like, he should just have the big gray fro, man.
Yeah,
would have been great. To see the fro floating in the water. Going for the survivors. You're like, no.
This looks like one of those white bushes from Mario. You know, when they just made the bushes on the white level.
Right.
All right. Well, okay. Anyways, thank you for everybody for supporting us today. Thank you for the super sticker, Stephanie. Appreciate that. and for the coffee that was sent over to Bespin from Legal Eagle, the only rational motherfucker on Reddit.
Is that
as
the
far as I'm
actual
concerned.
Legal Eagle from the YouTube show? Same dude?
Nobody knows. Let's just say it is.
That'd be cool if it was.
It would be
pretty
cool
cool.
if it was. But either way, Legal Eagle's cool. So our Legal Eagle, he's cool. So I know that much. But yeah. So anyways, thank you everybody for supporting the show. Like the video if you haven't, because it helps. And we've been getting pretty good numbers for the live shows, like over 300 people showing up. So I hope that continues.
It's more than actual views we have for the video. It's weird.
On YouTube, yeah, because we're on multiple platforms.
Right.
But
50 views on YouTube, 3,000 views live. I mean, it's crazy.
And I for whatever reason it didn't go out to a. Well, it says it's not on Twitter, but I see X is on there, so I don't know.
When I went on Twitter like during the show.
Yeah, it was on.
It was there. Yeah, it was the
Okay,
first.
We don't need X.
Okay, cool.
Hey, you get pretty decent numbers on there though. Like
I do.
from the show. Yeah, so you do need it. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't need that. Okay.
No, I mean, I just really feel like that. You know, when I'm gonna be, all my data is gonna be sold by one rich Nazi. They're all the same, so it doesn't matter to me. You know, Zuckerberg, he's a lizard person. He's definitely a lizard.
I'll take the lizard people over the Nazis.
Yeah, though they're the same. They're lizard Nazis.
No,
all billionaires are
one's
lizard
from
Nazis.
V and the other was from Z. It's
Damn.
totally different.
That one chick from the V remake was hot.
Oh,
Did you watch-
Melania?
No, the
She looks
the
just
new
like
V.
her.
What? No, Melania
is
is
from V from 1983. V.
No, they
Looks
made
just
a
like
second
that.
V. They made a new V.
No one watched the new V.
I watched the new V because the chick was hot.
You're the only one who watched the new V.
It was
No
all
one
right.
watched that. Yeah.
It just really should have looked like, you know, it lost a lot of the good designs. But anyway.
Yeah.
All right. Bye everybody. We'll see everybody tomorrow.
Bye.
Be cool. Stay in school. I still don't have an end for the show. I still haven't found a way to get it back.
Dune.